To talk about abstract factory design pattern. Abstract factory method is called factory of factories, and it provides a way to encapsulate a group of individual factories that have a common theme without specifying their concrete class. If you have seen my previous video where I talked about factory method, where we have created a vehicle factory which was used to create multiple objects of Honda and Nissan. In this session, we would be extending that factory method to abstract factory, where we would create one more factory called vehicle SUV factory, and we would use both vehicle factory and vehicle SUV factory in the factory producer to produce a corresponding factory based on the parameter that we pass. Let's say if we want to get a SUV factory, we would be passing a parameter to get SUV factory and we would get the SUV factory. Similarly, to get vehicle factory, we would be passing a different parameter. So in this example, we use an interface called vehicle and an abstract factory class, which is an abstract class that would be used to create methods. Those methods are extended and implemented in vehicle SUV factory and vehicle factory. Similarly, each of the class Honda, Nissan, Honda SUV, and Nissan SUV would be implementing vehicle interface. And finally, we have abstract factory test, where we would be testing this factory producer and all the corresponding objects based on the type of vehicle type. We would be fetching that corresponding object. Let's build this example for more clarity. Let me open my Visual Studio. Here is my Visual Studio. Let's start with a vehicle interface, vehicle.java. Within that, I will create interface vehicle, and let me create a method called start. Now let's create the other Java classes. The first one would be Nissan.java, which would implement our interface vehicle, and we will override public void start method, and we will print a message saying in Nissan. Similarly, we would like to create one more class called Honda.java that will implement same vehicle interface, override public void start and system.out.println, and we would say in Honda. Now let's create two more classes. Honda SUV.java. This would be the same, implements vehicle and at override public void start, and we would print system.out.println, and we would say in Honda SUV. Similarly, the last class would be Nissan SUV.java. It would also implement vehicle, implements vehicle at override public void start and a print statement system.out.println and in Nissan SUV. Now we have created four classes of each, and now we would like to create a factory method for each of the SUV and a regular classes. Let's create that. new file, and we will call this as vehicle factory.java. Within this, before creating this vehicle factory, let's create an abstract factory class which will have get vehicle type method. Abstract factory.java. Within this, we will have, this would be an abstract class. So abstract class can have abstract methods. Implementation won't be in this class. Only the methods that needs to be implemented would be in this, and we will say get vehicle, and we would pass a string vehicle type. Now let's use this abstract factory in our vehicle factory. We'll say extends abstract factory, and I would say at override public, its return type is vehicle, and I would say get vehicle string vehicle type, and we would implement this. First, let's verify vehicle type object equals to null, then return null. If vehicle type dot equals ignore case, and if it is Nissan, let's return a new Nissan object. Now let's verify vehicle type equals ignore case as Honda, then we would return new Honda object. And at last, if we don't find any type, any other different type, we would return null. Okay, now we have created a vehicle factory. Similar to vehicle factory, we would be creating vehicle SUV factory. Let's create that. So new file, vehicle, let's call this as SUV vehicle factory.java, and within this we would be extending our abstract factory that has a method that we need to override. That would be public, return type would be vehicle, get vehicle, and the parameters would be vehicle type, and let's check if vehicle type equals to null, return null. Next, if vehicle type dot equals ignore case and Nissan SUV, then we would return new Nissan SUV object. Similarly, we would check vehicle type dot equals ignore case and Honda SUV. We return new Honda SUV object if any other return type would be null. That would be null. Now we have created another vehicle factory. One is a vehicle factory and another one is a SUV factory. Now let us go ahead and create a abstract factory test. Abstract factory test.java. This would be have public static void main string args. This will have main method. Before creating this, there is one more class that we need to create that is called factory producer. So we have created individual factories and we would like to use both SUV factory and vehicle factory in this class. And this would be factory producer.java. Within this, we will create a static method or public static. The return type would be abstract factory and the name would be get factory, and we would pass a parameter, Boolean parameter is SUV. If it is SUV, then we would like to return new SUV vehicle factory. Else, we would like to return new vehicle factory. So this is a factory producer class that would return SUV vehicle factory or a vehicle factory based on the parameter that we are passing, is SUV. Let's use this factory producer in our main class that is called abstract factory test. Here, first let us create an abstract factory called vehicle factory equals and factory producer dot get factory. We would pass false, so we would get a regular one. Here we would like to create a vehicle Nissan equals vehicle factory dot get vehicle, and the vehicle type would be Nissan. And then we would call Nissan dot start. The next one would be vehicle Honda equals vehicle factory dot get vehicle. Within that, we would like to pass Honda, and here is a vehicle factory object, and Honda dot start would call Honda dot start method. Next, let us create one more abstract factory, and this one would be SUV factory equals factory producer dot get factory. This time we would be passing as true so that we would get a SUV factory. And here, let's create a vehicle called Nissan SUV equals vehicle factory dot get vehicle, and the type would be Nissan SUV, and we use Nissan SUV dot start to trigger start method in Nissan SUV. Similarly, the last one would be vehicle Honda SUV equals vehicle factory dot get vehicle, and within this we would pass Honda SUV, and now we would say Honda SUV dot start. So if you see this main method where we have created abstract factory, vehicle factory, here we should be using SUV factory and SUV factory. Okay, so first we are creating an abstract vehicle factory, and we are fetching the factory class using get factory from the producer by passing false. So if you pass false to this, we would be getting a vehicle factory, and if you pass true, we would be getting an SUV factory. So first we would like to verify the methods which are there in the factory, vehicle factory. And using vehicle factory, we would like to get individual objects, Nissan and Honda, that we are doing it here. And then we are executing the methods Nissan.start. And similarly for Honda, we are getting a Honda object. And then we are starting Honda. The same way as vehicle factory, we would be using SUV factory to get a Nissan SUV. And then we would be starting that Nissan SUV. And similarly, Honda SUV. Now let us compile all these files. Java C asterisk dot Java, sorry, it is Java C asterisk dot Java. It has compiled all the classes within this folder. Now let us run Java and the main method. The main method name is abstract factory test. If you see here, when we executed, it has executed individual start methods of individual objects. First statement is from Nissan in Nissan, and the second statement is from Honda.start, that is in Honda. Similarly for SUV in Nissan SUV and in Honda SUV. So this is as you know, this is a factory of factories. That means within this producer, we would be creating multiple factories and using them in the uh, context based on the type that we are passing. Hope this session was useful. Thank you for watching.